Hi everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, the crystals are here again.
Mm-hmm.
So in our channel we talk about family, faith, finance
And
and
fun.
fun. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about finance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're going to talk about money discussion to have with your spouse before you get married. Yeah, there are so many points you need to talk about before you get married with your spouse so that when you get married you will not be confused, you will not be shocked, you will not so many things will not just be confusing you and be like, what's happening? You need to start, you need to know all of these things before you get married so that there won't be fights when you get married. So, Mr. Christos,
Mm-hmm.
can we start?
Okay. Like I always say, we love bringing you contents that are very engaging and practical to our day-to-day life, right? You see, this issue of finance is important because statistically, I love quoting statistics because they are factual. But of course, our foundation is the truth of God's word. Statistically, it has shown that the number one reason for divorce, for most divorce cases, is tied to financial issues. So, talking about finance is important. In fact, it's an area, in as much as we take the spiritual aspect of your relationship and marriage serious, the same seriousness is required for financial discussions,
Mm-hmm.
especially before marriage.
Yeah.
You know, finance is as spiritual as every other aspect of your life. Jesus didn't take that aspect for granted during his earth walk. Jesus paid taxes. Jesus, in all of his, it was not just the miraculous transportation he was doing that actually was his entire financial. I mean, his entire responsibility. Hope you know, there were people that give money to Jesus's ministry. There were, I mean, Scripture talks about how that money answered all things. The scripture talks about the love of money is the fruit, I mean, is the root of all evil. So even the Bible has a lot to say about money. In fact, it says it is God that gives us the power to profit, to make wealth, right? So but as people who are in a relationship, I'm just saying that as to emphasize the seriousness of money to us, even in the spiritual aspect. But now bringing it to the physical discussion now as partners. Before we got married with my wife, we didn't leave any stone unturned. And we just want to bring to you today some key areas, especially with regards to money, to talk about before marriage. So let me start this way. First of all, when you're in a relationship and this is somebody you intend to get married to, the first discussion you'd want to have is the first things you want to find out, so to say, with regards the person's financial life, is to go to the root of where the person started. By that I mean, you'd want to know how is the financial orientation around this person's family. Of course, this person is growing from some. Even if the person has changed today, we are coming there. But even if the person is a changed person today, but you want to know, or you want to know what has informed this person's ideologies around finance, and it starts primarily from, we are largely a product of our family values. That's what Scripture will say: "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he grows, he will not depart from it." Because when a child grows, it is difficult to change that person's mindset with regards the rudiments he got from childhood. So you want to know what fed this person's mindset with regards money. What are the belief system around? What kind of family setting did the person come from? So there are different kinds of family system, especially financial systems around families. It could be that your spouse came from a family where there was not enough. So the only language he understands, the person possibly never believes that you can come to a level where you can be in a family that you have more than you need. Every need is taken care of, that you even have enough to
To
sponsor your
invest.
wants, and then to invest. So you want to find out that, okay, what kind of father did he have or did she have? What kind of mother did she have or did he have? Were their parents always quarreling on the issues of money? You know, did the parents believe in investment? Um, are the parents seeing children as investment? If you're in Africa, you understand this context. Largely, parents in Africa see children as an investment. By that I mean, they see that they are training you to come and give them later when you become what they have trained you to be. That's why parents largely determine what their children should study in schools.
Yeah.
You will see that you must become a doctor. They are seeing it as an investment because that's a lucrative course. Or you must become an engineer. Or you must become a pilot. Or you must become this. So you want to find out what's this my partner's mindset from where he's coming from. What kind of family setting is the person coming from? And the reason why you will not come in an attacking way. It comes, of course, you should be in a relationship with your friend, right? So when discussing that, the person should be transparent and open enough. And of course, you sensibly by observation, when you will definitely go to the person's family, to the person's house, you will see the kind of environment, and then you will see if there is so much financial tension, or there is so much luxury, or what kind of financial setting is in that house. We're not saying to judge the person by the family, but you're just trying to probe the mindset so that you know where to even start with this person financially. Okay? So that's that on that.
Okay, so talking about, I feel you don't have to even go to the person's house.
Mhm.
You can see it from how the person spends,
Exactly.
how he handles money. How anytime he wants to talk about money, is he always saying, "I don't have money. I don't have money." Why
Mhm.
he's having money in his account
Mhm.
or all of that. So from the person's spending habit, his interest, what he's saying, okay, this is what I want to do with the money I have at hand, you will know that yes, this person is heading somewhere, or this person is more of a spender than the saver. So when you notice that, you'll be able to start talking about it and say, okay, I think this is coming from your background. So can we discuss on how to do this, to deal with
And make
this?
this adjustment.
uh
That's that on that. A brilliant one there. So it's important for you to know, um, to see patterns. The idea behind observing and maybe asking some questions, not too forward questions. Of course, you know
Yeah.
your partner, so you know how to go about finding your information. Don't be foolish and wreck your relationship, but be strategic by observation and then by carefully asking based on the right atmosphere and the mood of your partner, and then you know the principles around getting information as you'd want, right? Then secondly, another thing you'd want to, when we got married, I mean, before we got married on this point, there were discussions we had. I knew the kind of family she was coming from. I knew, in fact, the kind of family she's coming from, they are full of independent people. And it was somehow is safer. I asked her some of those sensitive questions, and of course, I believe she also found out about my own family. So I knew, okay, by independent, I mean I observed especially the guys. That was where my focus was. I noticed all of the guys, nobody was depending on the parent. Everybody was just pushing out all out there. The average Nigerian family, guys especially, are where you put eyes on because some guys are grossly irresponsible, and at age 40, you see somebody in his father's house still looking for the charge card money from his parents and the likes.
I'll be angry if they did not keep food for
You
him.
understand or be angry, and this person, somebody that does not give a dime to the family in a month. So I did that, we did that to ourselves. Then, secondly, another thing you would want to talk about financially and find out basically from your partner, or you even talk about before you get married, is what's the financial state of that person at the moment of the relationship. By financial state, I mean in the context of mindset, number one. What are his beliefs? Okay, you have found out the place he's coming from, the kind of home he's coming from. But then, has he transformed? Let's say he's coming from a not enough kind of family where they don't believe that it's possible to even be rich in this life. They just believe being rich is for a select few, and they just believe you have to do menial jobs all your life and depend on
Or
pension.
it's
That's
only
that's his,
Yahoo
or it's
people
only Yahoo people that make
that can be
money.
wealthy.
So you want to find out his mindset or her mindset. What's the person's belief system around money? Okay. Does the person is the person a spender? Okay, number one, you would even want to find out what's this person's source of income. Okay, how much is this person earning, and then what kind of lifestyle is the person living, especially financially, with relation to the person's income. Then you would want to start tracing, okay, how is this person spending his money, right? What informs his budget for the month, and then is there a percentage that goes for let's say maybe giving? Is there a percentage that goes for charity? Is there a percentage that goes for his family? Is there a percentage that goes for investment? Is there a percentage that goes for personal development? Is there a percentage that goes for is he more into liabilities or assets, or he's balancing it, you know? Is she more the let's have it all and spend it all, you
Want to
know?
impress others.
You get, so these are the kind of things you want to find out. What's the person's ideologies? And then another thing that you need to find out is this is very important because sometimes people find that okay, that this person's income is not even impressive. I don't think he's marriageable, or this lady will be a liability to me. You want to know, okay, what's the person doing with regards to his financial state? Because believe me, there are people that will come and bamboozle you with information about money. I'm working on this project. I know about stocks. I know about buying shares. And the person is not even going to work every morning. There's nothing the person is doing, but the person can tell you all the English there is about finance. So you want to know, okay, what's this person doing to bring finance and the like. So knowing the person's financial state. If the person is not there yet, maybe the person is not a millionaire or billionaire or whatever, or the person is not earning money as you would want, you want to see, the idea around finance is to observe patterns. So the person's okay with the 10K, the 20K, the 50K, the 100K you are earning now. What are you doing with it? And then put yourself in the person's life and say, okay, with what I'm bringing to the table and with this person, how does our future look like? What's going to be of our future if we continue with these two forms of habit and financial state that we both carried, right?
Okay, so after discovering your partner's financial state, you need to ask your partner, okay, in your family now, that's when you guys are still single, what's your responsibility?
Mm.
Do you have do you have to give money to the family, let's say monthly, maybe because the person is not there, the breadwinner of the family is not more there. Let me make an example with someone I know. 3 months ago, I know of a family that 3 months to their wedding, the man's father died. So that means he will have to start paying his siblings' school fees. Those are in school, those are in university. He needs to pay their school fees, and he needs to help the mom too, in one way or the other. So these kind of things now, you need to discuss all of these before you get married, so that when you get married you will not be confused, you will not be amazed that this percentage of money is going to your spouse family, why you will need the money in the house. And if the man or the woman was having a family before, maybe the spouse died and the person has children. So you need to have all of these discussions, so that when you get married, you will not be surprised, you will not be amazed that this and all this money is going out while we need this amount of money in the house. So
Yeah, so very important. Basically, you find out where is money going out to. Is the person what responsibilities is the person having? Um, Especially family responsibilities. In Africa, if one person if one person eventually makes it financially, in fact, for you to make it, it takes so much sense of seriousness to pay the price and become outstanding in the average African home of Nigerian family. And then when you become it, you can't imagine the number of people attached to you. Okay, so it's important to know how much responsibility is the person handling. Are you willing to go on that path? What adjustments could be made and the likes. Then the next discussion you should have is with regards the home front itself when you are not married, right? So you want to know, okay, when we become married, what are the financial rules? This is very important because different people have all manner of mindset with regards, like we said in one of our videos. Right now, there are men that are looking for rich women to marry. They are their target. They're not even looking at other things like maybe the person's character and the likes. Right now, most people they are money driven. Even men now. It used to be a thing of the past that women are now the ones. Women were the ones going after rich men, but right now there are a lot of men hunting for rich women to marry them for financial security. So the whole financial thing, the whole financial game, so to say, especially in the marital context, has changed. So you'd want to find out, of course, in a relationship you are with your friends, so you're not even trying to see that person as an enemy, but you want to find out, okay, when we get married, what what will be the financial rules like? Like what how is our financial rules gonna be like? Is the man has the man come to knowing that, okay, as the man of the house, and there's this I need to emphasize, you see, as the man of the house, especially as believers that we are, it is very important for the man to know that, in fact, the fact that you are father, the father comes from the word Abba in the Bible. It simply means provider, it means shelter, it means is the support system of the home. Okay, that's what Abba means. You can see that from our relationship with God. God is Abba to us. And you know what Abba means to us as believers, okay? Is our source and sustainer. But in the home front, it's very important to also know as the man that, because if you don't align your mindset, you may think you are the sole provider of your home, and you will die for nothing. There is no sole provider in that house. By that I mean both of you should learn to see God as your source and sustainer. Okay, and privileged individuals in which God is bringing resources through is a very important mindset. But then, um, to now contextualize it, is important to now talk about, okay, who takes care of that, of what. I've seen a family where the woman, I don't know, maybe is it definitely from the place of choice, because the man was drinking even before they got married, but I think he had some money, and she didn't check for the red flags that he was drinking and this thing could graduate into something else. She later gave birth to five children when they got married, and the man became a chronic alcoholic, and he ceased from taking any form of responsibility for the home. She was the one paying the rent, taking care of the five boys they gave birth to. You know what it means to raise five boys in Nigeria. And then she was also training herself through school and the like. So you could literally see the frustration on her anytime you're around her, like the emotional trauma. So it's important, And another side to it is, I've heard Pastor Sam say how that when he got married, before they got married, he told his wife that, okay, because that those days her alawi as a copper was her salary, yeah, her salary as a copper was more than his salary as a pastor. So he told her that when we get married, um, you will help out for a start, but eventually I will not need to take a dime from your hand. I will sponsor both you, our children, and every responsibility around us. And today is a reality. So it's important to discuss the rules. Who takes care of what when we get married? Okay, is she having a source of income? Will she assist, or there will be no need? I feel I'm capacitated as the man. I would want to take care of everything. Ideally, the man, you should know that you are taking responsibility largely financially for the home. Okay, very important. Um, but it doesn't mean that the woman should be insensitive to, because I've a lot. If you go on social media, you see a lot of betrayal cases around couples when somebody has been living in his house for years, not knowing that he has been paying rent in the house for 10 years, not knowing that it was his wife that built that house. So he has been paying rent to his wife for 10 years, and she has had money more than him all the while. So an important thing for you to know as believers, especially, that's why we're bringing these kind of discussions to for you to have before marriage, is that marriage for us as believers is not a contract, it's a covenant. So when you see yourselves as people in a covenant, under God, there are some things you would not want to do to your spouse. In fact, you would see yourself contributing to the home front as a privilege, as you building something God has entrusted in your hands. Okay, so, but if your man now says that, you'll be the one giving 50%, I'll be bringing 50, and he's seeing it as a right, will you be ready to go on that route? Okay, what's your take on it? So discuss it. Who takes responsibility of what? With regards children, raising children, with regards feeding, with regards whatever investment, who does what? And then, even in the home front, are we going to have a joint account, or we're going to have separate accounts, or we'll have a joint account, and then everyone will still have his own single account that they could take care of things individually.
So the next discussion you're supposed to have with your partner is to discuss on what you need to achieve, set goals in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years, this is what we want to achieve and we should achieve. You need to have the lands, you need to have houses for investment. So that whenever something is coming up, that's after you're married, something is coming up, you try to advise your spouse, you try to bring to their notice, this is what we need to achieve. So don't get distracted by the things that are coming up, and they won't just try to forget because there are so many problems in the family. Like everybody, the extended family, everyone is calling you, everyone needs this, everyone needs that. But you need to tell your spouse, this is our goal, this is what we need to achieve. So we need to get what we need to achieve first before we think of all other calls that are coming in. So
Yeah, very important. You see, uh, so basically, discuss your financial visions. Okay, your financial goals. Where do you see yourselves? This is before you get married. All these discussions we're talking about is premarital discussions. Where do you see yourself when you get married? Where do you see yourself financially in the first 1 year, first 2 years? Okay, bring your children into it as well because it's costly to have children. So you look at your financial state. How do you intend to train your children? How many children will you have, and you be comfortable having them? Are you ready for them? You know, and then aside that, you discuss, okay, as a family as a whole, from our income, how do you intend to multiply our income? What investment? Where do we need to put in money for investment? Where do we see ourselves? Okay, let's say the family is now at a million naira income every month. Is that where you want to still be by the time it's 5 years later? So of course not. Everybody wants growth. So what things do you want to do to get there? Okay. And like she said, it's important you have those things discussed because it will help both of you to not get distracted. It is when you have a strong vision that it's very difficult to get distracted because without a vision, any road looks like it's gonna lead you there, right? But when you know where you're going, some distractions like demands outside that would come, people will be coming with. See, people will always have problems. One of the greatest deliverances I've gotten is knowing that I didn't die on the cross, it was Jesus that died. So I can't solve everybody's problem. So some of those things, with a vision of where you're going, some demands that are not worth it, and you know you're not capacitated for, you wouldn't stress yourself doing that. So thank you for your time. We are sure you have gotten some wisdom from today's episode.
let's meet in the comment section,
Subscribe, like, share.
share, and see you next
See
week.
you next week.